Decoding as fast as possible. Looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that guardian bubble, you know, and she still does have tide. Beautiful play on Mushin.
Oh my god.
Wonderful play on Mushin, blocking off the Gardener from the bubble. We might be seeing. Looks like we are going to be seeing Mercenary get chair here. Looks like Mushin has finally picked up the Mercenary, knowing that the exit gate is probably open.
Oh, just barely getting him.
Area, we could be seeing a dungeon escape. Mercenary is a little past half. Oh, we're almost open.
Oh, beautiful owl.
See the owl. And...
The gates. Oh,
oh my goodness, like these switch.
Oh!
Oh, really solid time. We are gonna see a little bit of some.
Keep harassing, trying to get that balloon rescue. The trim.
Well, this is one way to buy time. Really? But of course, we do have tide, and we're gonna see. Ooh, nice bomb. And we're gonna see. Oh, the thief tank the hit here, and then with the flashlight stun, we're gonna see one, possibly two. Ooh. Oh, we're gonna see two. Really great way to.
So much distance.
Yes, really great way to utilize the what do you call it? The rest of tide.
Oh, what a wonderful
magnet right there. No, that was really good because Finn was getting sandwiched by Mary and her mirror image, but getting to use that stun. Oh, excellent pallet stun! Great stuns back to back.
Officer doesn't have use of the backflip button.
And we're going to
utilize just to get a little bit more distance from the barmaid here. She will be. Oh no, she's going to rotate to the double pallet area. Unfortunately, those pallets have already been used.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. Oh, we're gonna go for some body blocks. Oh, and a successful body block off the coordinator here. It's going to allow Barmaid to take the window vault over to the shack ruin.
And we still have not yet found the entomologist.
Yeah, we haven't had the crow's trigger either, which is another plus. But we are getting closer. Maybe if we check the locker here. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, this is big! Oh, that was really close for Miss Melly over here, who had turned her head over, but Clerk had angled her camera away just in time to miss. Oh my goodness, Melly, make a run for it! You have to make that distance back now!
The little Melly that could.
Oh, and we are gonna lose tinnitus here now. Oh my goodness, this is huge. But the downside is that Clerk is aware of where the dungeon location is. We saw Wildling get chaired right beside the dungeon location. But we have one Euphoria and a Dream, okay? And we are gonna get close.
Oh no, she spent too much time out of the hunter's range. Unfortunately, has been spotted just at the
seriousness.
Oh! You might actually do it!
Here, run! You fall out a dream! We're gonna see a dungeon!
Yeah, especially when you want that mercenary to start decoding as fast as possible. It looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that guardian bubble, you know, and she still does have tide. Beautiful play on Mooshin.
Oh my god!
Wonderful play on Mooshin, blocking off the Gardener from the bubble. We might be seeing. Looks like we are going to be seeing the mercenary get chaired here. Looks like Mooshin has finally picked up the mercenary, knowing that the exit gate is probably open.
Oh, just barely getting him.
Over towards the middle area, we could be seeing a dungeon escape. Mercenary is a little past half. Oh, we're almost open.
Oh, beautiful owl.
You see the owl?
The
And
gates.
oh
it
my
looks like
goodness,
there's-
these switch.
Oh!
Oh, really solid time. We are gonna see a little bit of some.
Keep harassing, trying to get that balloon rescue. The trim.
Well, this is one way to buy time. Here, but of course we do have tide, and we're gonna see. Ooh,
Beautiful.
nice bomb, and we're gonna see. Oh, the thief tanked the hit here, and then with the the flashlight stun, we're gonna see one, possibly two. Oh,
Ooh,
we're gonna see two.
another one.
Really
Oh,
great
that
way
acrobat just
to.
pulled so much distance.
Yes, really great way to utilize the what do you call it? The rest of tide.
Oh, what a
excellent
wonderful
one
magnet.
right there. No, that was really good because Finn was getting sandwiched by Mary and her mirror image, but getting to use that stun. Oh, excellent pallet
Beautiful
stun!
pallet
Great stuns
stun.
back to back.
Officer doesn't have use of the backflip quite yet.
Oh, and we're
Lucy
going to
does
use the gun.
utilize just to get a little bit more distance from the barmaid here. She will be. Oh no, she's going to rotate to the double pallet area. Unfortunately, those pallets have already been used.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. Oh, we're
Another
gonna go for some body blocks. Oh, and a successful body block off the coordinator here. It's going to allow Barmaid to take the window vault over to the shack ruin.
Point. And we still have not yet found the entomologist.
Yeah, we haven't had crow's triggered either, which is another plus. But we are getting closer. Maybe if we check the locker here. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, this is big! Oh, that was really close for Miss Melly over here, who had turned her head over, but Clerk had angled her camera away just in time to miss. Oh my goodness, Melly, make a run for it! You have to make that distance back now!
The little Melly that could.
Oh, and we are gonna lose tinnitus here now. Now, oh my goodness, this is huge. But the downside is that Clerk is aware of where the dungeon location is. We saw Wildling get chaired right beside the dungeon location. But we have one Euphoria and a Dream, okay? And we are gonna get close.
Oh no, she spent too much time out of the hunter's range. Unfortunately, has been spotted just at the
Yes, but seriously,
fire.
oh!
You might actually do it!
Here, run! You fall out a dream! We're gonna see a dungeon!
Yeah, especially when you want that mercenary to start decoding as fast as possible. It looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that guardian bubble, you know, and she still does have tide. Beautiful play on Mooshin.
Oh my god!
Wonderful play on Mooshin, blocking off the Gardener from the bubble. We might be seeing. Looks like we are going to be seeing the mercenary get chaired here. Looks like Mooshin has finally picked up the mercenary, knowing that the exit gate is probably open.
Oh, just barely getting him.
Over towards the middle area, we could be seeing a dungeon escape. Mercenary is a little past half. Oh, we're almost open.
Oh, beautiful owl.
You see the owl?
The
And
gates. Oh, and
oh
it
my
looks like
goodness,
there-
these switch.
Oh!
Oh, really solid time. We are gonna see a little bit of some.
Keep harassing, trying to get that balloon rescue. The trim.
Well, this is one way to buy time. Really? But of course, we do have Tide, and we're gonna see. Oh,
Beautiful
nice bomb. And we're gonna see. Oh, the thief tank the hit here, and then with the the flashlight stun, we're gonna see one, possibly two. Oh, we're gonna see two.
Another one.
Really
Oh,
great
that
way
acrobat just
to.
pulled so much distance.
Yes, really great way to utilize the what do you call it? The rest of Tide.
Oh, what a
excellent
wonderful
one
magnet.
right there. No, that was really good because Finn was getting sandwiched by Mary and her mirror image, but getting to use that stun. Oh, excellent pallet
Beautiful
stun!
pallet
Great stuns
stun.
back to back.
Officer doesn't have use of the backfield plug-in.
Oh, and
Lucy
we're
the
going to
gun
use the gun.
utilized just to get a little bit more distance from the barmaid here. She will be. Oh no, she's going to rotate to the double pallet area. Unfortunately, those pallets have already been used.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. Oh, we're gonna go for some body blocks. Oh, and a successful body block off the coordinator here. It's going to allow Barmaid to take the window vault over to the shack ruin.
At this point, and we still have not yet found the entomologist.
Yeah, we haven't had Crow's trigger either, which is another plus. But we are getting closer. Maybe if we check the locker here. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, this is big! Oh, that was really close for Miss Melly over here, who had turned her head over, but Clerk had angled her camera away just in time to miss. Oh my goodness, Melly, make a run for it! You have to make that distance back now!
The little Melly that could.
Oh, and we are gonna lose tinnitus here now. Now, oh my goodness, this is huge. But the downside is that Clerk is aware of where the dungeon location is. We saw Wildling get shared right beside the dungeon location. But we have one Euphoria and a Dream, okay? And we are gonna get close.
Oh no, she spent too much time out of the hunter's range. Unfortunately, has been spotted just at the
Yes, but seriously,
fire.
oh!
You might actually be good.
Here, let's run Euphoria and a Dream. We're gonna see a dungeon.
Yeah, especially when you want that mercenary to start decoding as fast as possible. Looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that guardian bubble, you know, and she still does have Tide. Beautiful play on Mushin.
Oh my god.
Wonderful play on Mushin, blocking off the Gardener from the bubble. We might be seeing. Looks like we are going to be seeing the Mercenary get shared here. Looks like Mushin has finally picked up the Mercenary, knowing that the exit gate is probably open.
Oh, just barely getting him.
Over towards the middle area, we could be seeing a dungeon escape. Mercenary is a little past half. Oh, we're almost open.
Oh, beautiful owl.
You see the owl?
The
And
gates. Oh, and
oh
it
my
looks like
goodness,
there-
these switch.
Oh!
Oh, really solid time. We are gonna see a little bit of some.
Keep harassing, trying to get that balloon rescue. The trim.
Well, this is one way to buy time. Really? But of course, we do have Tide, and we're gonna see. Oh,
Beautiful
nice bomb. And we're gonna see. Oh, the thief tank the hit here, and then with the the flashlight stun, we're gonna see one, possibly two. Oh, we're gonna see two.
Another one.
Really
Oh,
great
that
way
acrobat just
to.
pulled so much distance.
Yes, really great way to utilize the what do you call it? The rest of Tide.
Oh, what a
excellent
wonderful
one
magnet.
right there. No, that was really good because Finn was getting sandwiched by Mary and her mirror image, but getting to use that stun. Oh, excellent pallet
Beautiful
stun!
pallet
Great stun
stun.
back to back.
Opera Singer doesn't have use of the backfield plugin.
Oh, and
she
we're
could
going to use the gun.
utilize just to get a little bit more distance from the barmaid here. She will be. Oh no, she's going to rotate to the double pallet area. Unfortunately, those pallets have already been used.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. Oh, we're gonna go for some body blocks. Oh, and a successful body block off the coordinator here. It's going to allow Barmaid to take the window vault over to the shack ruin.
At this point, and we still have not yet found the entomologist.
Yeah, we haven't had the crows trigger either, which is another plus. But we are getting closer. Maybe if we check the locker here. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, this is big! Oh, that was really close for Miss Melly over here, who had turned her head over, but Clerk had angled her camera away just in time to miss. Oh my goodness, Melly, make a run for it! You have to make that distance back now!
The little Melly that could.
Oh, and we are gonna lose tinnitus here now. Oh my goodness, this is huge. But the downside is that Clerk is aware of where the dungeon location is. We saw Wildling get shared right beside the dungeon location. But we have one Euphoria and a Dream, okay? And we are gonna get close.
Oh no, she spent too much time out of the hunter's range. Unfortunately, has been spotted just at the
Yes, but serious
fire.
this. Oh!
You might actually be good.
Here, run, Euphoria and a Dream. We're gonna see a dungeon.
Yeah, especially when you want that mercenary to start decoding as fast as possible. It looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that guardian bubble, you know, and she still does have tide. Beautiful play on Mushin.
Oh my god.
Wonderful play on Mushin, blocking off the Gardener from the bubble. We might be seeing. Looks like we are going to be seeing the Mercenary get shared here. Looks like Mushin has finally picked up the Mercenary, knowing that the exit gate is probably open.
Oh, just barely getting him.
Over towards the middle area, we could be seeing a dungeon escape. Mercenary is a little past half. Oh, we're almost open.
Oh, beautiful owl.
Yeah, we see the owl.
The
And
gates. Oh,
oh
it
my
looks like
goodness,
they're-
these switch.
Oh!
Oh, really solid time. We are gonna see a little bit of some.
Keep harassing, trying to get that balloon rescue. The trim.
Well, this is one way to buy time. Really? But of course, we do have tide, and we're gonna see. Ooh,
Beautiful.
nice bomb. And we're gonna see. Oh, the thief tanked the hit here, and then with the flashlight stun, we're gonna see one, possibly two. Oh, we're gonna see two.
Another one.
Really
Oh,
great
that
way
acrobat just
to.
pulled so much distance.
Yes, really great way to utilize the what do you call it? The rest of tide.
Oh, what a wonderful
excellent
magnet.
one right there. No, that was really good because Finn was getting sandwiched by Mary and her mirror image, but getting to use that stun. Oh, excellent pallet
Beautiful
stun!
pallet
Great stun
stun.
back to back.
Opera Singer doesn't have use of the backfield plugin.
Oh, and
she
we're
could
going to use the gun.
utilize just to get a little bit more distance from the barmaid here. She will be. Oh no, she's going to rotate to the double pallet area. Unfortunately, those pallets have already been used.
Yeah, at the beginning of the game. Oh, we're gonna go for some body blocks. Oh, and a successful body block off the coordinator here. It's going to allow Barmaid to take the window vault over to the shack ruin.
At this point, and we still have not yet found the entomologist.
Yeah, we haven't had the crows triggered either, which is another plus. But we are getting closer. Maybe if we check the locker here. No! Oh! Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness, this is big! Oh, that was really close for Miss Melly over here, who had turned her head over, but Clerk had angled her camera away just in time to miss. Oh my goodness, Melly, make a run for it! You have to make that distance back now!
The little Melly that could.
Oh, and we are gonna lose tinnitus here now. Now, oh my goodness, this is huge. But the downside is that Clerk is aware of where the dungeon location is. We saw Wildling get shared right beside the dungeon location. But we have one Euphoria and a Dream, okay? And we are gonna get
No.
close.
Oh no, she spent too much time out of the hunter's range. Unfortunately, has been spotted just at the
Yes,
serious.
but serious
fire.
this. Oh! Next,
You might actually do it.
here, last. Run, Euphoria and a Dream. We're gonna see a dungeon.
Yeah, especially when you want that mercenary to start decoding as fast as possible. It looks like we are just missing that hit. Beautiful. I believe that was an elbow pad coming off of. We might be seeing the Garner come in for a rescue here because she does have that Guardian Bubble, you know, and she still does have Tide. Beautiful
Blocking
play
her.
on
Oh my
Lucian.
god.
Wonderful play on Lucian, blocking off the Garner.
All
Hello,
right.
hello.
Oh,
So sorry.
no, you're fine. We did not plan out who was going to go first,
No, we
but
did not.
thank you guys for coming. Thank you guys for showing up and showing out for semifinals of Logging Off League. I am 206 Bones here with Mian.
Hello, I'm Yan. Super exciting turn-up that we have today. Very excited to see where the matches lead us. You know, we're nearing the end of the tournament here, and I'm really excited to see what these teams have to bring to the table today.
Yeah, we're looking at Pixus versus CH4, and these two teams have just been really showing up for and showing out for these matches that we've seen so far from them. I'm very excited for the matches today. We're gonna have a lot of very talented hunters, a lot of variety in the hunter picks as well. So, yeah, a lot of exciting stuff to see. As you said, we are heading into the later stages of the tournament. So, it's only going to get more high action, more high intensity from here.
For sure. And I mean, we were all watching last week, Beta Breath and everything. You know, we had a lot of really crazy matches between both CH4 and Pixis last week. Lots of really great dungeon escapes, lots of really great hunter plays, and great teamwork coming off of our survivors.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they're able to accomplish this week and how they're really able to stand against, I'm gonna throw out here that we're likely not going to see a double opera singer round one. So as we get into the band picks here, it looks like we are gonna have CH4 hunting first and Pixis surviving first. So I am very excited to see what we turn out with for this round one. But it looks like
For
we are going
sure.
to get our first two bans here in a moment. Map is Ever Sleeping Town, and we're going to be banning the Antiquarian as well as the Coordinator here for CH4.
to very, very popular bands when you're coming into a tournament setting and even playing in your matches as of late. Having the antiquarian out on the playing field and the coordinator, you have two really great harassers here. Even if the coordinator does lose her flare gun pretty early on, she does have the opportunity to open up chests and get new items to help support. So you really have a lot of versatility here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see who our first two survivor locks are going to be from Pixus, but you do make a really great point there with that coordinator. I feel like if they are going to look for a coordinator here, Lucky Guy's definitely a good option. But first two picks here are really, up for grabs. Again, first two picks of every round are going to be globally banned for the remainder of the round. So whoever these first two picks are, we won't be seeing again. So that does mean that we could see some very bold picks here. It also means that we could see some more cautious picks, but it actually looks like we're going to go for the bold route here. Pixis not messing around, going full business. We're going to see a novelist as well as first officer locked in for these first two selections. So we're really looking to counter this opera singer here.
So we're really going in for our first two picks to really go against that opera singer, which we're probably going to end up seeing before we start moving into our hunter bands um later on in these rounds. When you have two survivors who can really help against the speed of the opera singer, and you have also a great set of survivors that come on afterwards, it makes a lot of sense. We're leaving both the gardener and the perfumer as an open space for future rounds. It looks like Pixis might be trying to play a little safe here. It does look like our third band coming in is the Seer, which another formidable choice. Being able to accumulate rage really helps you get in extra hits, and if you play Seer just well enough, you know, you can get as many owls as you could.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see that aeroplanist coming out here for our third lock in. And we're also going to see the acrobat band. So really not wanting to see the versatility of the acrobat on ever sleeping. But of course, aeroplanist does have a lot of mobility, a lot of versatility on the map. Same with novelist and first officer here are very hard opera singer counters. I feel like it's a bit of a high risk, high reward choice here to bring out the first officer. Once again, he is going to be locked for future rounds. And that means that they won't have, one of, if not the current best rescuer in the game. Obviously, Mercenary still on the table, Gravekeeper still on the table as well. But for our final survivor pick here, we are going to see the Dancer, which is a very, very exciting choice to round out our survivor lineup. Such a strong kiter, as well as a strong decoder. Dancer is kind of a pocket decoder if she doesn't take the first chase there with those boxes. So I'm excited to see how they're able to utilize her.
To agree. Dancer is one of those picks that just really is super strong on a map, specifically like Ever Sleeping or her home map, which is Moonlit River. You have a lot of really great areas to set up either slow boxes or fast boxes to help you decode. And if you're getting first kite on maps like Ever Sleeping or Moonlit or Leo's, that drop down speed boost that you get from falling from high places, even though it's for a short duration of time, can be very beneficial when you're trying to kite as long as possible. And I feel like when it comes to the dancer, that it's one of the things that you really have to take into consideration with how well you want to utilize her. And hopefully being able to see her in a setting like Ever Sleeping, especially with a team composition like this, you'll really be able to see her prosper.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see if we're going to have some teammate support action coming in on this lineup. We do have the dancer and her ability to set up whole areas with the music boxes to support kites. We also have the novelist for a lot of support there as well, can really just take control of a kite. I'm excited to see if we're gonna see more of those novelist swap palette stuns that we have kind of seen over and over again in this tournament. And just overall, I mean, the I feel like Novelist has really been kind of a breakout star of this season. But we are going to get our Persona webs in before our Hunter lock. We've got First Officer carrying Tide Turner and Borrowed Time. We have no Borrowed Time on both the Novelist and the Aeroplanist. So that's very good news for you, Mian. I know you're a big fan of those no Borrowed Time builds.
is a huge fan of the Navarro time builds here. You know, when you're sitting here really thinking about team composition, sometimes with the team comp that you have, it works really well. It looks like our Hunter Lock is
Oh,
going to be the Hermit. You know, really trying to break out of Pixus's guess here of the anticipation of an opera singer and pulling out the Hermit kind of out of left field here. Um, on a map like Ever Sleeping, there's a lot of really great distance and really a lot of span, diverse widths between ciphers on the map that can really help stall with decoding progress.
yeah, Hermit round 1 here is very unprecedented. But I do think, honestly, it's not a bad choice here. We don't really have any particular Hermit counters on this team. We have the Novelist, we have, you know, the First officer, I feel like, is the better rescuer against a Hermit rather than a mercenary. He's not, he's still affected by the chip damage, but he's not as detrimentally affected by the chip damage as a mercenary is. You can still go for a rescue when on, very little to no health when you're a first officer with the help of that pocket watch. But there's no the main thing here that Pixis is really going to have to kind of lock in against, and something that's really going to benefit CH4's Hunter, is that there are no specific Hermit counters. We don't have a Gravekeeper, we don't have, a Barmaid, a Psychologist, an Enchantress, anybody who could really kind of mitigate that damage. So Hermit's greatest counter is, of course, a 4-man team, but even with a 4-man team, we did actually just see this happen in Call of the Abyss. So this is kind of the comparison that I'm drawing from. But Novelist can be very effective against a Hermit, but is still risky just because there's nothing specifically in his kit that can avoid the stuns. So
I
yeah, it's really going to
definitely
come
agree.
down to individual skill here. I'm very excited to see this matchup.
Mhm. You know, when you have a team like Pixis and for a very consistent period of time here, you know, we've had a lot of first picks opera singers. When trying to build a team composition, it's really up to the hunter to kind of take them off guard, and I feel like that's where we're at the point here because we do have a team composition that does really work around opposing the opera singer. So it's going to be very interesting to see how well they fare against this hermit here.
Yeah, it's I feel like it's always a risk to go with something that's not necessarily off meta, but like adjacent to the meta, especially for round 1. The
Mhm.
pro here is that if, we perform very well with this hermit, it's going to put Pixis in a position where they can't necessarily ban Opera Singer in the next round. So yeah,
For sure.
all of that said, getting into the spawn picks now, it looks like Novelist is going to be set up for that first chase here in the center, possibly and probably with that box support from the Dancer, both of them being situated in the middle there. So yeah, we'll really just have to see how this pans out. But once again, I am Bones. I am here with Mian. We're heading into round 1 of the Logging Off Leaves semifinals with Pixis versus CH4. Good luck to both teams. All right, and looks like we are
Really
going
going
to set up a
into
connection early
setting up
on.
Cypher.
Heading past the tram here, we are going to head into the range of the Novelist. So Novelist is going to be our first chase here, and going to pick up a charge there. Novelist did not already have a charge from that Cypher. So yeah, we're going to be on blue here. Survivors can't switch their polarity just yet. It's really going to be a matter of if we can catch up to Novelist fast enough to get that first hit before... Oh, a beautiful stun. They're pulling him right out of that vault, and that is going to be our first hit. And continuing
The
the chase
hermit
into the
here.
center of the map. Going to get another charge there, but the switch coming through right in the middle of the teleport. It looks like we do have insolence on that Hermit, so that was activated, but unfortunately stunned out of that teleport there. And Novelist is going to be able to continue this loop here. We do have a very strong loop setup with the support of the Dancer, but we could, no, actually stun. We're not going to get the stun before the pallet has been dropped. Clayham getting a huge distance here on Hermit. Dancer kind of in the area. It looks like we might be switching targets to had enough of that Novelist. We are going to be able to get a little extra bit of damage on the Novelist there, but it looks like Dancer is going to solidly take this chase. And that is going to be Novelist downed, actually. Dancer is one hit away from being downed here with Hermit damage. But with that Novelist down, that does kind of put a damper on the decoding for this team.
Novelist down, actually. Dancer is one hit away from being downed with Hermit damage.
So sorry. You know, we're having a lot of really great discipline coming off of this Hermit and this really great chase here. Being able to mitigate the chip damage is really helping with the chase. Obviously, losing the Novelist was a bit unfortunate, but being able to catch a female Dancer and really try and cut her off here is super big.
Yeah, we're going to get the charge in on Dancer. Their Novelist was able to get healed up, so we are being able to reset back to normal conditions. Dancer taking the stun there, but we are going to be able to get to that pallet first. Hermit, unfortunately, not able to get that hit in, but with none of the other survivors on that blue polarity, Dancer is going to go down here.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing the female Dancer first share here, but you know, we do have a lot of really great decoding progress going on, despite just how slow it's all moving. You know, it looks like we are going to be seeing the aeroplane has come in for the rescue. You know, it's really just about how great jetpack, really trying to avoid that. Being able to take that first hit, getting this officer just to about 3/4 of his HP here. Really whether or not we can keep the support going for this female Dancer.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate here that first officer has taken so much of the distributed damage. It is going to make rescuing a little bit difficult, especially coming into the later stage of the game. Hermit actually missing that stun there. Dancer with a beautiful pirouette right out of that box. We are going to be able to transition out of Graveyard this way. Hermit, unfortunately, not quite close enough. We're going to go for another teleport, but not quite making it over that wall. A little bit of a misjudgment with the aiming there. We are going to get that stun in on Dancer, and that is not, in fact, going to be a down. That damage once again has been distributed across the survivors, and once again this really is the fact of the matter that team communication is Hermit's greatest counter here, looking at 2 ciphers remaining already.
Looks like we are going to see that first officer get healed up just in anticipation that maybe the female Dancer will get down to here. You know, you want that first officer to be able to pull off a clean rescue here. Unfortunately, you're going to see the female Dancer go down here. Really great stun coming off of that Hermit. And that means we're probably going to see the first officer move in here to try and take control of that rescue. Connecting these ciphers, you really want to make sure that the decoding progress here is slower, especially when you're at a pivotal point of 2 ciphers, and unfortunately, just being able to predict where the first officer is and using teleport to get you back to the chair to cut off the rescue.
Nicely done!
Nice work! Coming off of this Hermit. Beautiful play. You're gonna see, unfortunately, the Hermit go down, and the female Dancer is being sent back to the manor. So it's really up to whether or not the Aeroplanist or the Novelist are going to pull off of their ciphers here to rescue.
Yeah, the major issue here is that the ciphers are very, very close to being primed. Hermit noticing that is going to go ahead and disconnect them. That does force Aeroplanus to transition to the center of the map here, looking for that final. I would say that the cipher's probably very, very close to being primed, if it's not primed already. But Hermit heading back towards the center of the map. Yeah, that looks like that cipher is practically primed now. It's going to be very, very close here. Going for Aeroplanist. Are we going to be able to pressure the cipher through the rescue is the main question.
Looks like we are. We're going to be seeing the novelist pull off that rescue, get the first officer off the chair here, and we're going to be seeing the aeroplanist take this kite.
Yeah, right now I would say we're looking probably at a draw, except for the fact, okay, it looks like Novelist was just able to get to the gate. Unfortunately, Hermit knows he's there. If they're able to get a draw out of this, it will be very impressive. But with Novelist being at this close gate here, I would say we're looking at more of a three-man situation. Hermit with eyes on Novelist now. Novelist also with the charge. We're going to get a stun in there, and that is going to be
Another
Novelist
great
down.
shot.
Teleport is
Unfortunately,
up. We
gonna
could pressure that gate.
novelist down. You know, we do know that the first officer is at the whole entire other gate and not really focusing on trying to get the aeroplanist off the chair. Looks like we are trying to go for a one-man as fast as possible, but you know, the Hermit is just able to really close off distance rather effectively, and being able to use teleport as another utilization here is extremely helpful.
Yeah, wasn't quite able to get out of the range of the pocket watch there, unfortunately. Heading towards the center of the map here, unfortunately getting that stun in on the first officer, and once that watch runs out, that is going to be our 4-man elimination here in round 1. That is absolutely insane for, yeah, Hermit round 1. Hermit round 1, 4-man elimination.
What a
Just
phenomenal match
wow.
here, coming off of the Hermit and, of course, our survivors here. We had a lot of really great communication coming off of our survivors, and we had almost a 180-second kite coming off of this female dancer, especially against 100 like the Hermit. You know, being able to kite for a long period of time really is a testament to how well you put up a great chase here. And you had a lot of really great support coming off of that aeroplanist as well.
Yeah, I was really, really impressed there. I feel like the end game especially, they did have 2 ciphers primed at that time. They were really, really effectively able to manage those ciphers, even with the Hermit connection. There's pros and cons to a Hermit connection. On one side, it does slow down the decoding quite a bit. On the other side, though, it means that there's distributed progress across all of the ciphers, which means that coordinated teams can return to those ciphers, clean up the progress, and immediately you get cipher rushed. So a very, very
Exactly.
close match there. Just unfortunate that they weren't able to get to the gates, probably as fast as they might have hoped. But, 100 and over 2 minutes of containment there on that dancer. 167 seconds, just incredibly done there. But that does leave Pixis survivors as well in a position where going into round 2, depending on the map, do we ban Hermit? Do we ban Opera Singer? That's really going to be the question once we get through the second half of this round. But going into the second half of this round, we're going to see Pixis hunting and CH4 surviving.
Really excited to see just what Pixis's Hunter brings to the table to follow up CH's Hunter here. It looks like our first band picks are going to be the Antiquarian and the Priestess. Again, Antiquarian is such a universal band, especially in a tournament setting. You really don't want to deal with the harassment that comes with the Antiquarian, and being able to be stunned into a position, not being able to use your abilities, unfortunately, is it puts you in a really difficult position. And of course, you can never go wrong with a priestess ban on Ever Sleeping. A map like Ever Sleeping is pretty much like a playground to her. You have a lot of really great spaces to put down portals and to even set up for great support for your teammates, especially when you're trying to push for distance against certain hunters.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised to see these bands locked in, especially Priest is here on Ever Sleeping Town. That's, I guess it does depend on the hunter somewhat, but if we're looking at, can't even look too directly at Opera Singer here because Pixis does tend to bring out that clerk in round one. So obviously still up in the air. I do have a feeling though, especially after that hermit, that we may be seeing an entirely opera-less round one, which, if you guys have been keeping up with Koa the way I have, definitely a welcome sight. But once again, it's an interesting kind of chess game to play where it's when you have a hunter that is so solidly at the top of the meta, picking something that's a little bit more specialized or more of a tailored pick can be, it can be very helpful. It can throw off the other team, but it can also be, it can be a risk. There's a reason why Opera Singer is at the top of the game. So yeah, we'll really just have to see, how these hunters kind of manage their pool of hunters that they can play.
And we see a lot of diversity when it comes to these teams here. We have a lot of very off meta hunter picks coming in. We've seen geishas, axe boys, obviously Clerk has really picked up and fallen from her graces in the past year and a half or so. And also a sculptor here and there too. Really trying to pull away from the opera singer meta that's really pushing in here. So hopefully being able to see a first round no opera singer would really be beneficial. I think more so for us just to give us that fresh wave of something new, something diverse to the table. And I always appreciate that. I love seeing everyone's off meta picks. I really think like even if they aren't tournament particular, I think just love seeing like how different everyone plays.
Yeah, we're seeing some requests for Joseph gameplay in the chat as well. I can't say I would expect that coming along, but I mean, we were talking before the tournament went live about the unconventional picks that NAU has and how much of a joy it is to see that kind of the diversity of the NAU ecosystem, so to speak. But for our first two picks here, we are going to go with the perfumer as well as the gardener, which I know both of us here are very, very big fans of the fact that perfumer is
Yeah.
now meta. So this is very
It's
exciting.
been really exciting just to see see the perfumer being able to shine as brightly as she does now. I spent a lot of seasons really really hoping for this. So even unfortunately for my character points when I'm ranking, I will not be opposed to seeing Veronair. It looks like our third band is the psychologist, another great, great band choice here. Being able to use either her stress or her empathy here. Um, can be really frustrating when you're trying to kite, especially when it's early game and you're really trying to when you're in a pinch for time and for ciphers.
Yeah, we're gonna get the cheerleader out here for our third survivor lock, and our dancer is unfortunately going to be banned this time around. Which,
Mhm.
as we have just seen, dancer is a very, very strong kiter, so not a surprise here that she's been banned. I'm very excited to see, with that psychologist ban in play, I feel like the cheerleader can kind of stand in on some level with that support, with also that, not non-ideal first chase here. And it looks like we're gonna have forward to round out the lineup, but much of these survivors, if not all of these survivors, are really difficult to have as a first chase. I would say perfumer probably the most vulnerable member of the team, maybe forward, but again, it's still a forward and you allow the other survivors to cipher rush you. So yeah, cheerleader here instead of the psychologist, I think it's a really interesting pick, but it's a really strong pick to kind of put
Well,
those two
I
against each other.
I definitely agree that the cheerleader in replacement of the psychologist is a really strong pick. You also have a lot of really great support that comes with choosing the cheerleader and putting her together with the perfumer. Being able to reset your cooldown, especially when
Right.
you're is super, super beneficial to you, especially when you're trying to push for a longer kite to buy in time for your teammates to decode or, heal or anything. And being able to get that extra support in with a duo like the cheerleader and the perfumer together is very, very detrimental to the hunter here.
Yeah, I would also be interested to see the cheerleader, the cooldown cancel go in on the forward as well, because that could make for a lot of just repeat harassment.
True.
Um, yeah, I'm always excited to see cheerleader actually get on a team where she can reset cooldowns because she can't reset anybody or she can't reset everybody's cooldowns. So when she's able to reset cooldowns, we see her paired a lot with Aeroplanist as well for that same reason because Aeroplanist has a
Mhm.
resettable cooldown. And it's quite a long one too. I think the jetpack is like 14 seconds or something. It's kind of
Yes.
ridiculous, but when with a cheerleader, that really cuts down the time. So, especially with the perfumer buff, having a cooldown cancel here could be just incredible for the kiting potential of this perfumer.
For sure. And you know what? Being able to really take the cheerleader in and break her skill set apart and just how much she benefits her team here. Being able to use the motivate on just your teammates or yourself or the inspire. You want to be able to make sure that you're supporting just as much as you can. Especially when it does come down to using inspire because like the psychologist, she can really help you take an extra hit, get up, and then keep pushing.
Oh, and it looks like we are going to have an even more unconventional pick, but you did mention the sculptor, didn't you?
I did. I am a
You
huge
did
sculptor
mention the
fan.
sculptor. You've
Um,
manifested
I was
this.
gonna say, a really great friend of mine was for a very long period of time, I think within like the top 5 sculptors. So, being able to watch her really pick up and be as strong as she is, and then, be such an unconventional pick nowadays to really take a team and come out of left field is very exciting. I love being able to see how well she's utilized in a setting like this. Being able to really understand her kit and how her mechanics work in the graveyard is just so wonderful, especially late game.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how this sculptor operates. It does look like we did actually have a different hunter here hunting for PX, so no clerk on my prediction end, but a different person playing hunter. Obviously, this is a different hunter, but yeah, I'm very excited to see a sculptor. We did actually see a sculptor. I think it was the first week. We saw a couple sculptors um on logging off league. So if you go back and I think it was activators versus something that I'm not remembering off the top of my head. But yeah, we did see some really awesome sculptor gameplay earlier on. I'm very excited to see more sculptor. It's been
Mhm.
it's been a
We've seen
while since we've
some,
kind of seen the golden age
yeah.
of her meta. I did actually see somebody in the chat was saying, going back to the old Koa days. I think we really are going back to the old Koa days, with this lineup, with this hunter pick as well. I mean, the only character here that didn't exist, before 2020, or I guess in 2020, is cheerleader. Everybody else was either a
Yeah.
beta character or sculptor, or not perfumer, but the other two.
Well, you saw
Perfumer was
her.
season 1, that counts.
Yeah, you saw her every now and then, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't have seen the gardener and the perfumer back in the day. You would have seen the forward, you would have seen the sculptor. But I feel like, I mean, this is kind
Absolutely
of
not Miss
a
Woods.
huh?
I said especially not Miss Woods. Her recent buffs these past few years has really, really helped her.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm very excited to it's I feel like it's kind of a version of Koa 4 meta. You have these very, very tanky survivors. The difference, though, is that the only decoding debuffs on this team are cheerleader and forward. We do still have a very slight decoding debuff on cheerleader, but other than that, there's much less lack of decoding than we would have seen back in Koa 4, which is much worse for the Hunter side of things. But heading into the spawn points here, we're going to have forward in the center here. Cheerleader spawning up at the top here. Looks like we may have some support coming in from the Gardener potentially, but I would say we're going to mostly focus on decoding here. Forward possibly taking this first chase. I feel like rotating to Perfumer here would be the ideal option. But Forward's definitely gonna try and get in the way.
You know, we did all just get our builds in. You know, the Perfumer was my favorite 6-9. We had the Gardener with 9-12. And then the Cheerleader and Forward both had 3, but the Forward has 6, and the Cheerleader has 12.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
very
really
often
excited
you
to
see
see.
a Forward with 6 anymore.
Yeah. The double tie turner here is going to be great as well. But getting into the second half of round 1, once again, I am Bones here with Myan, and good luck to both teams. Sculptor does need a 4-man elimination here in order to tie the round. So stakes are pretty high. But heading into our first chase, it looks like we're actually going to go ahead and go for Cheerleader first.
You know, Cheerleader is... Ooh. Really great chip hit coming off here. Just nearly missing that first one there. You know, Cheerleader here is a really great chase if you're anticipating her using her motivate on herself, and being able to take that slowdown that she does get.
Yeah, just missing that chip there as well. Cheerleader being very conservative with these dashes. We are out of dashes now, though. We do still have Flywheel to work with. I would definitely expect to see that sooner than later, especially since she is just 1 chip hit away from going down. We are actually rotating towards the basement here, which is a little bit risky. Blink is up as well. Cheerleader playing a little bit of mind games there, but unfortunately going to not quite have that go through with Sculptor landing that Blink hit. Very nicely done.
You know, we had a really great first kite here coming off this Cheerleader. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing her chaired in the basement. You know, this kind of puts her teammates in a position of whether or not they want to rescue here, especially because we are still at 5 ciphers.
Yeah, looks like Forward heading in, looking for a stun, but no, actually gonna go straight into the basement, baiting out that basic hit, but oh no!
Well, Terror Shock! Just being able to manage the curve of that Sculptor, her hitbox here. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing a Terror Shock coming off of this Forward. This really puts the Sculptor in a really great position here.
Yeah, we are looking at a little bit of a basement party here. We could be looking at an even more of a basement party. Sculptor is at full presence now. We did just land that chip hit in on the Gardener. Gardener has to be very, very cautious with this. We are going to get the bubble up. Forward has been rescued. And we also have Perfumer out of the chair as well.
Here.
All survivors just trying to scramble out of the basement. We've got the fall hit in on the Forward. Gardener also taking a basic hit, but it looks like, yeah, a bit of a group effort on that.
As well.
Wow. Looks like Perfumer actually staying in the basement here, looking for this rescue on the Forward. We do still have Perfumes to work with as well, and trying to bait out the rescue here. 4 ciphers are still remaining, so Sculptor is still in a really good position. Perfumer, unfortunately, getting hit with the statue, and just going to go down in the back of the basement here. But yeah, that is just incredible performance here from the Sculptor. But just, you know, I can't even say it's an unfortunate start because it's just an accident. The Terror Shock was so
clean. Unfortunately, you just have to be so careful of that Sculptor's hitbox because of just how angular it is when it curves out like that. You know, it's very easy to get stuck in that position here.
Yeah, at this point, though, if CH4 survivors are able to play this a little bit conservatively, they can push for a 1-man escape. Going for the bubble here, unfortunately, not going to be able to go through right away. But we can push this chair as long as Gardener's able to get that bubble in now. That's exactly what is going to happen. Gardener looking for the body block, unfortunately not going to be able to get it. But we do have 3 ciphers remaining, which does mean that the survivors can push for dungeon
Oh,
if we don't end up
beautiful.
seeing a very long slug.
Beautiful hatch. Whoa, hatch. Sorry, the beautiful statue coming off of this this sculpture here. We have a lot of really great discipline coming off. We are catching sight of the cheerleader, which means we are going to be trying to use our graveyard and our statues as much as possible to really catch up. And it looks like we are really pulling for a 4-man here.
Yeah, finding the cheerleader. Unfortunately, cheerleader not quite able to hide. Going to take a statue hit there. Flywheel has been used. But with cheerleader in sight, yeah, this is looking like a 4-man elimination. There's not much that these survivors can do at this point to really change the result of the match. We are going to miss that blink here,
We're
but
gonna miss the bloom. You know, we do have the oh, another beautiful beautiful statue hit here, and we are going to be seeing the sculptor move in to avoid the tram, and the gardener is going to be getting up. Looks like we are going to try and play the slug game here, really trying to pull for that 4-man instead of a 3-man here.
yeah, they really, at this point, it really is all or nothing. At worst case scenario here, the round is still a draw. So both teams kind of have that. Well, CH4 has that on their side here. PX does need to really push for this 4-man elimination. We are going to see Trump card come into play. Do want to note as well that Sculptor was actually not carrying detention here. So we are coming into this with very confident Sculptor. Beautifully done with that statue hit combo. And that is going to be Gardner with no self-heal laying on the ground here. Cheerleader does still have self-heal, but yeah, they really are going to be pushing this one for a hopeful, if they can push it for the 1-man, then they win the round. So yeah, very understandable that they're going for the long game here. But yeah, it looks like we are going to just stay over cheerleader here. Going to go ahead and go for the chair because we do know where Gardner is. We also obviously do know where cheerleader. Actually, we're moving the chair. Are we going to chair or are we going to let her struggle free? Because if we don't know where Gardner is, okay, no, we are going to go ahead and go for the chair. That is going to be our surrender for a 4-man elimination here to tie us up in the first round.
Really great gameplay coming off of this the sculpture here. Unfortunately, we just had a bit of just a few accidents in the beginning that really led to us here.
Yeah, I mean that terror shock really just made the game
Mhm.
for Pixus there. That is, yeah. I mean it happens. It happens. But forward just going in a little bit too early. Sculptor had already swung and that just connected. So I mean, yeah. I feel like I feel like things could have been taken a little bit slower on the survivor side there. Basement against the sculptor. I mean, basement in general is very difficult, but especially, once you start giving that sculptor presence, there's not, you know, there's not much that you can do
Mhm.
to really counteract that. She can just throw statues at you from every and all direction. And that's exactly what we saw. So yeah, I mean, beautiful, beautiful sculptor gameplay there.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you're in the situation of having two survivors in the basement, especially one so early on a chair and the other one almost at the expiration time, um, you want to make sure that when you do have a person going in for the rescue, it's clean and effective. I do think in a situation as that, having both your rescuers, both your standing players, less standing players go in for the rescue can really make or break your game here, especially when you really need someone to sit and focus on decoding.
Yeah. I wish that there had been a little bit more focusing on decoding there. I think that was the main thing, was that,
Mhm.
they were stuck at 4 ciphers remaining for quite some time. If there had been a little bit more decoding progress there, that would have been, obviously that would have been great. I feel like, it was very high risk, high reward there because there was no detention on that sculptor.
No, not
If
at all.
if that Terror Shock hadn't gone through, I feel like it would have been a much different game there, a much more kind of brutal chase towards that four-man elimination. But yeah, basement party happens, and yeah,
It happens
just
to the
so
best
well
of us,
done.
yeah. Really, really great control and discipline coming off of the sculptor here, honestly. Seeing the chat also agree makes me really happy. Like, I miss the reigning era of the sculptor and just how hard she hits. Especially when you have really great discipline and knowledge of the character that you are bringing in. I love watching her come in and just really take control.
Yeah, and honestly, it just makes me more and more excited to what we're gonna see for these next two rounds now. Tie-in round one does guarantee that we will be heading to round three on this matchup, which honestly is just so exciting here because it just means we get to see more. And especially with that first round being so unconventional with those hunter picks. It makes it much more difficult heading into round two because now these survivors have to decide who to ban. Do we ban the sculptor? Do we ban the hermit? Or do we go ahead and ban opera singer? Do we pick a map that works better, for a certain hunter that we want to ban? Rather than, it really comes down to kind of the strategy game of it when we
Of
get
course.
to this point in the game because it's, who do we ban? Who do we pick? Who do we let out? What other hunters does this team have that they could bring out on us that we need to counteract for or prepare for? And, the amount of calculations that go into it is just insane.
Mhm. When you're moving into a second round with a tie already on the table, you have to really play the mind game with both of your teams. It's really coming down to who can outpredict the other. And when you're in a situation where you have two hunters that played very unmeta picks and unconventional picks right out the bat, it puts you in the position of, do I want to ban the meta or do I want to ban what I know that they know? And then
Mhm.
how do I play around the character that I didn't ban? And it does kind of come down to the survivor side here of being able to really collect together and play against the hunter.
Yeah, and I feel like, especially with kind of the boldness of um of Pixis survivors in round one, they did. I'm just double checking this for my. Okay, yes, they did pick the novelist and the first officer. For their first two selections. So those are going to be banned coming into round two, going into round three as well. They're not going to have the first officer or the novelist, which is not. I mean, there's definitely replacements. Obviously, we do still have mercenary on the table. We do still have gravekeeper on the table. We do still have coordinator, etc. on the table. But it makes that ban pick so much harder because now you have two pretty optimal picks that are the hunter doesn't have to worry about and that you can't access. So
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, they serve their purpose, but it is still, that's just the way of the game when it comes to the global ban situation.
Yeah, and it looks like we are going to be seeing a red church band and a we're going to be seeing a red church band and a Moonlit River pick. So we're looks like we're collectively going for the bigger maps. Bigger the better. It really leads a lot of opportunity for different survivor and hunter picks here. Obviously, we're going to be seeing our universal bands go in, which is our perfumer and our gardener, which again we won't be seeing them the rest of these rounds here. Um, so unfortunately, we're in a position of having two survivors who can counter really well against certain hunters here, and we're not going to be able to see them here.
Yeah, I feel like I mean, if we're gonna compare global ban to global ban, I feel like the CH4 global bans here are a little bit nicer
Yeah.
to the survivor comps because you can work without a you can work without a perfumer, you can work without a gardener. So there are kind of replacements that will come in handy. It's not like you're not gonna find a hunter who's really looking to ban, perfumer and gardener specifically most of the time. However, we are going to see a geisha ban coming through here from CH4. So I feel like maybe that is in kind of response to not having access to some of these tankier survivors who do very well against the single hit hunters.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing a geisha ban, and on a map like Moonlit, we saw just last week how hard and aggressive she is really utilized on a map like that, being able to quickly cut off distance despite how wide and big Moonlit River Park is. It looks like we are going into our first survivor picks here. We're gonna be seeing the patient and the embalmer. Patient really helps with being able to pull for distance instead of the opposite of wanting to close it. And of course, the embalmer late game, if he lives lives to see the end, can really, really make or break either a tie or a win.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that Embalmer coming out. Embalmer, a very common choice, not only on large maps, but also when teams really want to push for a draw, push for that escape. Because not only does Embalmer help with kind of the end game, allowing survivors to teleport themselves across the map once they're downed, it also means that you get a free rescue without having to send anybody in. So that means Hunter can't gather presence. Survivors aren't going to get damage that's later going to snowball on them later in the rounds. So Embalmer, a very, very good asset to pretty much any team, but especially, we are going to see the Mercenary locked in as our third pick here. Mercenary, very strong rescue, but having that extra insurance of the Embalmer rescue as well here is really going to be helpful. Rounding us off, we're going to actually see a mechanic ban as well as a prospector lock. So going very aggressive on this team comp here.
Yeah, the mechanic ban here is a little interesting to me, just because on a big map like this, especially with how far apart the ciphers are, unfortunately the robot does not live as long as it used to, and she is still technically one of the slower survivors. So it looks like we're really just trying to cut off for decoding here, more than anything. It looks like we are going to be seeing the prospector lock in here. Another really great kiting choice here, and a really great supporter. He does get the speed boost when he runs past the lockers and cipher machines, and of course, being able to stun the hunter for a duration of time can really help either support your own kite or your teammates here, especially when you're so late in the game and you possibly have a teammate on third chair, and you really want to make sure that they're there until the last cipher. Really helps.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of potential synergy here between I mean, like pretty much anybody on the team will benefit here from prospector harassment, especially with the patient and the mercenary. Both of those survivors can dash or, hook away, dash away, break a lot of distance. Pairing that with prospector support of pulling the hunter back into obstacles can be just so, so helpful. Even if it's a relatively short stun, it does still move the hunter out of the way, and that's the biggest thing to really support the kite there. But
Mhm.
even with Embalmer, who doesn't have that same sort of built-in skill ability, that the harassment is always welcome. But it really does come down to if that prospector is allowed to harass,
For sure.
given the window.
Yeah, and this is a very interesting team composition. I feel like I'm also being kind of thrown back in the past here. Um, Obviously, the patient is still relatively new to the team composition here, even though he's been out for about 2 years now. Um, but obviously, Embalmer, Mercenary, and Prospector are definitely a trio that we have seen in the past. that really do take control of the map. And it does look like we are going to be seeing a Bloody Queen pick here. What are your thoughts on that, Bones?
I Bloody Queen pick is definitely a good pick here. However, CH4 also has a very, very strong Bloody Queen that these survivors have definitely practiced against. So I feel like we're almost entering a little bit of home territory there for CH4. So I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. And it's a pretty strong team against Bloody Queen, honestly. I mean, obviously we don't have the Seer, we don't have the Perfumer Gardener there. Kind of these survivors that are a little bit more specialized towards single hit hunters, but Mercenary always a really solid rescue. Embalmer as well. When you really only need to raw kite and also kind of break distance sometimes, um, I mean, it's a matter of who can mirror versus who can break distance first because we have, you know, you can hook away from the you can hook away from the mirror, you can dash away from the mirror, you can magnet yourself out of the way of the mirror. A little bit more difficult, especially if the mirror image is the thing chasing you when you're a prospector.
Of course.
But it's a matter of staying close enough to the main body of the Bloody Queen where that doesn't happen. So, yeah, a lot more individual, individual kiting skill here that's going to need to come out.
Yeah, it looks like we also did get our persona webs in. It looks like everyone except Embalmer is running 3. You have the Patient and the Prospector with 12, the Merc of course with 6, and the Embalmer is running 12-9. This is also just my personal opinion, but when you're playing a character like the Embalmer, don't really need 3 anymore after a certain point, as long as you still have that coffin up on the field.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see we're going to see Bloody Queen spawning right in the middle there, right next to both the Patient and the Mercenary. Now, both of these aren't really ideal for chases, but we'll definitely just have to see, if she's going to just mirror away or if she's going to commit to either of those. But heading into round 2, first half here, score is tied between CH4 and Pixus. I am Bones, this is Mian, and good luck to both teams.
Looks like we are immediately starting the match up and going right for that chase here, making the Patient rotate here. That starting off not being able to utilize the mirror right off the bat, you do have you are in the position of having to chase pretty much on your own here. The mirror looks like we are trying to set up the mirror, but we are just kind of in a position where we're a little close. Wonderful mirror placement, just missing the Patient. What a wonderful hook coming off here. You just have to make sure that the mirror catches up as fast as it can.
Wow, and yeah, this is exactly what I was saying right before the match started there. Patient just staying just out of range of this Bloody Queen hitbox. And yeah, it really is a matter of who's able to mirror first, and if you're just able to hook away from the mirror, that's exactly what Patient's been doing here. Just taking Bloody Queen on a loop. We're getting pretty far into the match here. Oh, but not quite able to land that flywheel. Bloody Queen with the heavy hit there is going to land her first hit. Mirror is up as well to continue the chase.
Unfortunately, that flywheel was just a little too early. Beautiful hook coming off of this Patient here, but unfortunately that does leave him without any other items to help support him.
Yeah, I'm going to try and fake out the blink here. Bloody Queen actually carrying Patroller, though. We are going to be able to loop around these pallets for just a moment. Mirror is off cooldown in a second. We are looking at our first down, but 2 Cypher Kite already, nearly a 3 Cypher Kite. We're going to see Mercenary Cypher is passing 70% there. So a very, very long containment to start us off.
Unfortunately, the Mercenary is being forced off of that Cypher, and the eyes are on him. It's really... it kind of puts him in a difficult situation here. Unfortunately, he is going to have to risk it and see if he has to come in for that early kite. Beautiful elbow pad, missing that mirror there. Lots of really great support that comes with the Mercenary.
Using the elbow pads to avoid getting hit right away is honestly really smart. We are going to get the hit in on the patient, but that was a clean rescue from the mercenary. So very nicely done on that front. It does mean mercenary can come in for a second rescue. It also means that there is less damage across the team. Bloody Queen is going to go ahead and get those extra hits on the patient in order to get herself to full presence here. But yeah, we are still at 3 ciphers remaining.
Yeah, you know,
Gonna
not
see,
being
trying to
able
get the
to
hit on
finish the
mercenary.
cipher here is very hard. We are gonna see a very clean mirror hit come up on that mercenary. The patient is running away from the cipher. You know, looks like we're trying to make sure that the mercenary can really finish the cipher and move on.
Yeah, it looks like we are going to use our last elbow pad there just to avoid taking a second hit. Mercenary playing very, very close to the fire there, so to speak. It looks like we actually do have wanted order on the mercenary as well, so that means that we can just go ahead and pressure mercenary further. Looks like we do have support coming on the coaster. Heading onto this side of the map. We do have 1 cipher remaining, and it looks like that final cipher is actually going to be Mercenary's first cipher, so that is very well along. I would say it's probably at around 80% by now. Really, really good cipher progress here for CH4.
Unfortunately, that Bloody Queen was just not in the pallet enough to get that pallet stun in. You know, that is the unfortunate calculation there when you are working with your magnets.
Yeah, we're gonna try and go for this mirror hit again. Mercenary on that cipher. It looks like we are passing 80% now. Prospector taking that hit. We're gonna see Embalmer actually come in to help with this cipher priming progress. We do have trump card though, so we could see. No, we actually have no time to switch to abnormal. Cipher was primed. It's gonna be a 4-man endgame here. Embalmer, obviously without borrowed time, is going to go down, but we do have that coffin up all the way across the map.
We have
Survivors
a lot
scattering
of
here.
communication coming off of our survivors here. It looks like we are running towards the back gate. You know, we're getting a little bit lost here, just wanting to deal with that mercenary, but beautiful mirror hit on that mercenary. Looks like we're gonna see our trait switch and a teleport.
Yeah, endgame here can definitely be salvaged. Prospector using first magnet. Beautiful flywheel there, and we're gonna get the magnet again. Still have a lot of resources over at this first stop to use on this kite. We haven't been over here yet, so all the pallets are still in play. Mercenary, though, is going to be downed on the other side of the map. Embalmer has gotten back up again. And it looks like Bloody Queen getting a little bit nervous. No, actually going for the mirror hit here. Trying to avoid those magnets, but unfortunately not quite able to land.
You know, when you have a lot of confidence in your mirrors, you can really use them to your advantage here. You know, looks like we are going back for the chase on the prospector here, but it looks like we're just getting a little bit lost in the chaos of it all. And the gate is open. We are probably going to see the prospector come in.
Try. Oh, did the cancel go through?
Yeah, the cancel went through, and unfortunately we are going to be seeing the prospector go down. This is a 3-man escape, 1-man elimination.
Wow. Yeah, just that was absolutely incredible there. And you know, that really is exactly what I was saying. This team has practiced against Bloody Queen, and that's definitely showing here. The raw containment on the patient was one thing, but the kind of the diligence in which they handled that end game, even as Bloody Queen switched targets, even as, you know, the survivors got a little bit scattered there. A lot of that end game was the survivors, you know, regrouping in rapid time, trying to outplay Bloody Queen, and that it really paid off there. So yeah, just really, really great kind of turnaround there, I would say, for CH4's survivor side heading into the second round.
For sure. You know, unfortunately, we had a lot of unfortunately for the survivor time side here, we had a lot of really great communication. Unfortunately, we just didn't see just the strength that comes off of the Bloody Queen. Obviously, not being able to deploy that patroller ever, and having to rely on trait switch endgame is a little detrimental here when you do have the patroller to help stall rescues and everything. Um, Unfortunately, just being able to utilize things like that would really, really help.
Yeah, just very unfortunate there that the patroller wasn't able to come out. I feel like, you know, patroller Bloody Queen is definitely a move But yeah, I like it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely like along the lines of patroller, like patroller feaster, patroller lizard.
Mhm. You know, when you're
It
going for
can work really well.
unconventional,
What?
when you're going for unconventional picks,
Yeah.
you know, that is the unconventional choice here.
It can
Um,
work. It's just a matter of if it's able to be utilized, and unfortunately, we
exactly.
just didn't see it. But yeah, heading into the second half of the round right now, CH4 does have the lead here with that three-man escape. We're going to, win conditions here for PX survivors are going to be a four-man escape to win the round. Other results will be a tie or a loss of the round. So really needing to take out the big guns here. And with that in mind, it is just a little bit unfortunate that, we are taking the first officer and the novelist off the table right away. It does kind of, you know, it doesn't necessarily put them into a disadvantage, but it does mean that they're going to have to kind of work their strategy. I mean, with those first two picks, they definitely do have a strategy in mind coming into this round, but I do love seeing first officer. I also really like seeing novelist get utilized. So yeah, we will not be seeing those. And for our first two bands here, we will also see the Priestess and the Antiquarian. If you very familiar faces for those first two band slots.
You know, two survivors that, of course, we saw get banned here last round, first half of this round as well. You know, you don't really want to mess with the Antiquarian. Want to mess with the priestess, especially priestess on a map like Moonlit. Big maps are her playground. She goes from position A to position D, just in a matter of seconds, and you really don't want the world portal here out on the playing field, because when you are tunneling and a survivor goes through, yes, there's obviously the image that you can hit around afterwards, but you know, with the 10% healing boost that the priestess does give to her teammates on the playing field, uh, you really don't want to mess with that, especially if the world portal is very far away.
Yeah, definitely banning Priestess on Moonlit is, it doesn't always happen. There are, times and cases where the Priestess isn't banned. But, that's mostly if we're looking at, something like a Breaking Wheel coming through. Breaking Wheel doesn't really have to worry about. I would say Global Portal definitely still a problem. But the regular portals, because my voice is working, are, less of an issue in that case. But of course, Priestess's ability to just traverse the map is, I would say, unparalleled. I mean, it is unparalleled. I feel like the only things that come close are like Toy Merchant in terms of the short term, and then like Little Girl with her long teleport. But it's not really a group effort, so yeah, there's not really any survivor that can hold a candle to the versatility of the Priestess.
I definitely agree. Looks like we are going to be seeing our first survivor picks in here. You know, I'm very, very excited to see the toy merchant be utilized, especially in a map like Moonlit. You know, you can get really, really great support here with those catapults. Especially if you put them up on the slide area and have them leaning towards the coaster stops. Being able to catch onto the coaster there can really help kites as well. And obviously, the mercenary is a very safe pick here, especially since our first officer is part of our global bands. So, you know, when you lose one great great rescuer, you have to replace him quickly with another one.
Yeah, I'm definitely not surprised to see the mercenary picked first here. I think it would have been really interesting if, maybe instead of the antiquarian or the priestess, we had seen the mercenary ban just to knock another rescuer off the table. But then again, mercenary does have a pretty significant decoding debuff. He does work with 25% slower decoding. So taking him off or putting him on the table here, and leaving him on the table from the hunter's perspective, is definitely not the end of the world. We are going to see a seer band go through though, and a dancer lock. So really, once again, we are going to see that dancer coming out here. And you also, man, were discussing the dancer's versatility on her home turf of Hullabaloo, which I guess actually would her home turf be Lakeside, technically
Well,
speaking?
technically, her home turf is Lakeside, but Hullabaloo is her playground. Lots of really great areas that are just very congested that you can put slow boxes down, lots of great heights to fall from, and lots of really great looping areas, which are very versatile to the dancer here. It really, really does help with her survivability.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see. We did just see how strong Pixis's dancer is, so I'm very excited to see her getting kind of a second lease on her performance. We are going to see that acrobat band coming through as well, and patient for our final lock. Yeah, this is a very strong team. I'm very excited to see the patient coming out here once again because the amount of different hooks that you can get, or the amount of different kind of hook routes that you can take on this map, can really, really be strong. We did see just how strong that patient containment was in the previous match as well.
Bugs, like for someone who's asking for patient all this time, it's very sad to not see bugs out here. Obviously, hopefully we can recollect and everything. But I love seeing the patient out, especially out on the playing field. We saw him in that first half of this round. Um, he has a lot of really great containment possibilities here. And with those hooks, being able to pull for distance, especially if you aim them right, you can really go a long ways. It does look like our hunter selection is going to be that gamekeeper. You have a lot of survivors here on the playing field that do go for distance, and obviously the hook coming off of the gamekeeper can really catch them as they're moving. So you have to be very careful about where you're landing and just keeping a watchful eye on him.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see kind of the battle of the hooks that we're going to get here, with the patient versus the gamekeeper. I love seeing Gamekeeper, which probably shouldn't be a surprise considering that my little beautiful little PNG there is Molten Hound themed. But I'm a very big Gamekeeper fan, and his rise in the meta has been very exciting for me. Because I love seeing him. His gameplay is just so fun and so aggressive. So I'm very excited to see, I feel like Pixis may not have been expecting the gamekeeper because they're I mean, it's not definitely not a bad comp here. It's very good for the map, but specifically against gamekeeper, I feel like might be a little bit risky, especially, it really depends on where they're able to spawn. I would say Dancer, does want to spawn somewhere, probably within the two-story, possibly even just within the God Kite area. You do want to have those walls in the way. You don't want to get caught in an area that doesn't have walls because even if Dancer can tight kite, in the area next to the slide, the area outside God Kite, Gamekeeper can still hook over those areas. That's really going to be something that this team needs to be careful of, when taking their kiting routes, when deciding, where to move, because Moonlit River Park is a very good map for Gamekeeper because of that. Because, it's a little bit like Ever Sleeping. It's a little bit like Lakeside, where you have all of these low Leo's Memory as well. It has all these low obstacles that you can really get the hook over.
Of course, looks like we are going to be seeing our persona picks here. Everyone is running borrowed time, but you have everyone except the Merc running Flywheel, and the Merc is running Tide. As we're moving into our spawn picks here too, obviously you want to play a little bit of keep away with that Mercenary here because, having the Merc on the playing field with the Gamekeeper who, after a certain point in his presence, does get that chip damage, and you have to be a little cautious here.
Yeah, Mercenary, then that is the thing with the Mercenary, still being on the field, First Officer being banned. Mercenary does kind of have that little bit of risk that comes in going against a Gamekeeper. But heading into the second half of round 2 here, we need, these survivors need a 4-man escape in order to win the round. 3-man escape will tie the round. Any other result will be a win in the round to CH4. But it looks like we're going to take the Dancer Kite here around first stop. Gamekeeper unfortunately not getting that hook over the edge of the stop like he may have hoped, and Dancer is going to be able to set up a lot of boxes in this area and continue this containment.
Setting down a trap right in the crevice of that pallet, you have to be very careful to make sure that you're not getting lost, especially on the playing field here. Beautiful job coming off of this female dancer, really focusing on staying out of the area of these hooks. We're gonna see the Gamekeeper break one of those slow boxes, but just one of them couldn't be not enough here.
Not quite making that hook as well, sending it back into cooldown. Putting the trap here, but we do still have all of these slow boxes in the area. Not quite going to break any of them just yet, which it is a waste of time, but actually able to get that first hit in. Dancer unfortunately not able to flywheel in time, but of course the coaster is still locked off, so Dancer is not going to be able to take that very safely just yet.
Now we're in a little bit of a tight position here, just with where the Gamekeeper has put down some of these traps. We're really, beautiful blinking of the Gamekeeper. I was gonna say we're really pushing the female dancer here to really avoid these palleted areas now, because getting stuck in one of those traps can be very costly.
Yeah, we do have our first share here, but 3 ciphers are remaining, and I do think that Mercenary Cypher, I think, was taken over. So looking at really good Cypher progress here, it was a very, very long first chase, but Gamekeeper pressuring 2 survivors now, looking to get that hook in on Mercenary, but unfortunately missing the hook once again here. And Mercenary is going to be able to go in for this rescue without chip damage. So nicely done there with that pallet drop as well to get even more distance. Mercenary is going to take a hit, but Dancer able to transition out of the area. And I do think that chair may have gotten rid of the traps that were placed on the coaster here.
Yes, it looks like we are free to use the coaster. We're really... Oh, beautiful hook. Just catching the female dancer. Unfortunately, the prediction of that flywheel here came out, and you are going to see the Gamekeeper start breaking some of these music boxes.
Yeah, Gamekeeper very, very conscious of the Cypher progress here. Nicely done with the hook and the discipline there. Not quite going for the hit right away, waiting for that flywheel just to get that Toy Merchant on even less health here. We're going to trap off that Cypher and head back for Dancer. Dancer was able to get up though, but with the hook still in play, we are going to have to be very, very careful here. Oh, and unfortunately the hook is going to connect, but Gamekeeper actually missing the first hit there, missing the hit once again. Dancer taking huge advantage of these slow boxes, missing again there on that vault. Are we going to be able to take the coaster away?
Using the fall down speed boost here, we are going to see the dancer get away as much as possible. Unfortunately, that hook just connects, but we had a lot of really, really great positioning here from that female dancer. Looks like this Gamekeeper is going to try and lock off the Cypher. This is the last Cypher here.
Looks like the Mercenary has started another Cypher, which is very good because I was going to say they need to start a Cypher that is not right in the line of fire. Toy Merchant, though, is going to go down. Dancer left on the ground here to self-heal, but Toy Merchant actually going into the basement. Unfortunately, right in the area. And that is going to be a new chair. Now, they can go ahead and rescue this. I think, Mercenary is still hard at work on that Cypher. But the wanted order coming in does mean that Gamekeeper is very aware of that new final Cypher being decoded.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like we might be going for... Unless someone is rotating around. I believe that is the patient rotating around, picking up the female dancer, it looks like we are going to possibly be trying for that rescue here. The Bane is kind locking off the entrance here with these traps, using the hook and missing the hit here on. Oh,
With the flywheel, they're avoiding that hit, but Patient getting stuck on Gamekeeper's body. That's going to be an immediate down. They're not quite able to get that rescue off. We do still have 2 survivors up, and it looks like Dancer has already started opening the gate. Gamekeeper, unfortunately, not going to have teleport up in time because of that blink. But yeah, that has just turned what would have probably been a 3-man escape here into a draw. Now,
I was gonna say I'm left a bit speechless here. Really great discipline coming off of this gamekeeper, being able to use and utilize these hooks to connect and catch up here. Unfortunately, the mercenary is in a bit of a tight position, being able to oh, just barely missing that hook. Unfortunately, the mercenary is in a bit of a tough position here. One elbow pad, no elbow pads left, and we're really trying to make sure that that mercenary does make it too. Oh no!
yeah, that's going to be another down here. Dancer is just going to go ahead and take the 1-man escape, but with that 3-man elimination, that is going to be a very decisive win in the second round here for CH4. Now, it is not over. It is not over. We do still have another round to go through, but that does give us 1 win for CH4. Otherwise, we do have a tied first round, but if CH4 is able to win the next round, then it will be a very solid victory for them. Total, yeah, points here are going to be 11 points to CH4 and 7 points to PX if it comes to that after the third round. But right now, CH4 is very decisively winning after just such a strong performance in that round. Looking at the stats here, Dancer did have a very, very strong
The
containment
dancer
once
had a
again.
beautiful kite.
Yeah.
140 seconds against a gamekeeper who has a lot of really great discipline and control of his hooks, and being able to narrowly miss all of those traps. It was such a really phenomenal play coming off of that dancer. And even at the end, when she picked herself up, being able to kite even just a little bit longer and utilize the slow box as much as possible really was super beneficial to her.
Yeah, and having that second cipher going there during the end game was very, very smart. It's just so unfortunate that the end game went the way it did. But, that blink trick for no attack recovery, the miss, the flywheel, what a tense end game there. Just so, it really comes down to kind of that back and forth, the ability of the kind of reaction time of these hunters, of these survivors, to just be able to kind of pull that out in clutch. They PX really did have a strong start to that match, but endgame gamekeeper is scary, especially once you run out of items, once your flywheel is all on cooldown. There's not much that you can do to avoid that hook other than, just run and pray that it doesn't connect to you.
For sure, um, especially seeing how well this Onion Greenkeeper play was, it was frightening, especially in that basement area here. Beautiful flywheel did come off of that patient, but being able to really trap the patient in and knock him down, especially after that blink hit and everything, really put these survivors in a position of whether or not they were going to take their win, their tie. And unfortunately, we are just seeing the mercenary get caught up to, and now I understand why the no mercenary ban here.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, especially an endgame like that with the detention, there's very, very little that a mercenary can do in that situation. But yeah, it just is an unfortunate miscommunication there that mercenary wasn't at the gate and did get caught out in the center of the map like that. But it is what it is, and that is kind of the name of the game. Where if you're not in the right place at the right time, it can really be a deciding factor uh in terms of, going into that end game. But, it could definitely be in a different situation right now. That tie in the first round does mean that Pixis has hope heading into this third round. Yeah, I do believe that they can. I don't have the math on me for the specific conditions that they need to win. But they can definitely, if they lock in and really really push, for these wins in the third round. There's always hope. It's never over until it's over. We have seen some crazy crazy upsets happen here in any tournament. So yeah, very excited to see how things turn out in this third round.
It's never over until it's over, and we're in a position when we're moving into round three. If we can really come in and pull together the points, we could be seeing overtime if we can manage that. I'm again same as you, same boat. Not sure what the conditions are here, but we had a lot of really great teamwork here. Um, I could I do believe we're gonna be seeing some really close matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a fight here in round 3. Both teams really, CH4 needing to kind of preserve that lead. Pixis having everything to prove here. And I mean, we've seen, the strength of these Pixis survivors and of Pixis's hunters. It's not to be underestimated at all.
Mm-mm.
We're seeing consistently on Dancer, Dancer's containment times have been 167 seconds in the first match and then 140 seconds in the second match. These are very, very strong survivors. But it's a matter of just being able to kind of follow through with the pitch, because we're coming out with these insane first kites. And, it's a matter of being able to keep up that momentum,
For
heading
sure.
into kind of the later half and the later, end game, coming into end game for the matches.
Yeah, I mean, we are seeing a lot of really great plays coming off of these survivors. Um, and you're definitely right. The first kites really do make or break your match sometimes, and we are seeing a lot of very strong first kites coming off of these survivors. Um, you know, when it comes down to it, it's how much you're willing to put up the chase here. Or if you want to start transitioning around and look for possibly what could be considered the weaker link. And unfortunately, sometimes you're just in the position of I see the survivor right in front of me, and this is my target. So when we're coming into our third round here, we're gonna have to really play on our toes a bit.
Yeah, it's really going to come down to, kind of those tiny, tiny adjustments, you know, where survivors are at all times, which survivors are in the right place at the right time. It's going to be, kind of down to these minute calculations coming into round 3. And also during band picks, we haven't seen an opera singer. Now we could just go ahead and ban opera singer and kind of you know,
I was
keep
gonna say
that
you're
up,
right.
but
I was wondering who
yeah.
we've been missing this whole time. It's been, it's honestly been very refreshing to not see her. So we're really seeing hunters come in and play what they know best.
Yeah, it's 'cause it's business now, there's no room for experimentation. There's no room here for, kind of taking the chance on, if you're not an opera singer main, she just with every successive nerf, she just gets more and more difficult to play. So I'm glad that opera singer is not the default here, even if just because, when a hunter is better at another hunter, going, "Oh, but, like, this is meta. I should play this other hunter." We've seen, even on professional stage, that kind of come back to bite teams in the behind. playing kind of sticking to that hard meta instead of sticking to their guns. So I'm very excited here to see that that these hunters are really, I would say, not playing it safe, but playing it comfortable for them, because going with an off meta pick isn't always safe because it's off meta. I mean, and Gamekeeper is meta. Gamekeeper is definitely meta. But, new meta. Very new meta.
For sure. It does look like we are slowly moving into our global bans and our map picks. We are going to be seeing a Sacred Heart ban. You know, I can't be too surprised when you've played with two relatively large maps. You as you're moving into the third round, are you willing to put up with the distance again? Which it seems like we're really trying to take that off, and we're moving into a red church band, a very great pick for a map.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that red church come through. We're downsizing here.
Yes.
We've had kind of, well, I guess Eversleeping's not really a big map, but it's definitely, it's a bigger map. It's much more open. Moonlit River
Mhm.
Park as well has kind of that openness going for it and sheer size, but red church very, very small. We're kind of, we've gone huge, now we're shrinking down to this, lots of walls, lots of pallets, lots of corners here. I'm definitely, I'm very excited to see kind of how this changes the strategy because we have been thinking very, very big. So kind of going down, thinking a little bit smaller, we are actually going to see that that priestess is not going to be banned. So yeah, we're heading into round 3 here with the Antiquarian as well as the Seer being locked off for our first two bands.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're always going to be seeing an antiquarian ban. It's so hard to not to just miss that. And of course, we're going to be seeing the seer ban. Really puts you in the position of really wondering who your hunter will be just off of these first two bans. These are still pretty relatively meta bans here, so it really comes into the last two for your hunter prediction here. I'm very excited to see what two hunter bands we'll be getting in and what two survivor picks we'll be seeing.
Yeah, I feel like here of all maps, definitely looking for an opera singer ban. I also would not be surprised since we are looking at CH4 on the hunter side. Bloody Queen ban, I feel like, is gonna be in the cards because Ling obviously is, kind of the Bloody Queen. I was honestly a little bit surprised to not see her in the last round, but obviously, all is well that ends well. We were able to succeed with that gamekeeper. But I'm very excited to see, what these hunter bands are because, we do have Opera Singer on the table, we do have Bloody Queen on the table, we still have Gamekeeper on the table. Um, there are just a vast amount of hunters that are viable on or not on Sacred Heart, my bad, on Red Church that, and you can only ban two. So which two are we going to be seeing here is the real question.
Mhm. Looks like we are slowly getting our survivor picks in. We're starting immediately off with the female dancer in the forward. We've seen time and time again how strong the female dancer is here, and especially if she spawns in the center of the church, uh, being able to set up that slow box trap there gets you really stuck in a loop.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see this follow through on the dancer too. I would assume, for Leon Kennedy there. But it's I'm kind of seeing this dancer over and over again with such strong early game containments. It's been working. It's been working for Pixus. So yeah, I'm pleasantly, you know, happy about this. But we are going to see, it looks like, Opera Singer and Hermit are going to be our hunter bands this time around. So unfortunately, no Hermit, but that does leave Bloody Queen still on the table. So we could definitely be seeing that coming up here.
For sure, and we've seen in the past, CH's Bloody Queen is very, very formidable here. Looks like we are going to be seeing a psychologist ban. So this is where my anticipation is that we will probably be seeing that Bloody Queen or the Axe Boy here.
Oh, that's right. We could also see an Axe Boy here. Looks like we're gonna have coordinator in for our third pick here. So, obviously a very solid choice. The one, concern of that coordinator, as well as the forward here, is both the possibility of the hunter bringing excitement, but also the walls on
Mhm.
Red Church. So, a little bit of an obstacle hazard there for the coordinator. It's really going to come down to whether or not we can dodge that gun, but I honestly, with this double stunner, I wouldn't be surprised if we see an excitement choice over, something a little bit more traditional like Blink.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on a map as small as Red Church, you can kind of get away with a little bit more when it comes to which traits you bring in the swords. You have two big stunners here, and unfortunately, like I was saying earlier, the coordinator, although she just only has her flare gun, being able to utilize that flare gun and then move on to a different item via a chest, makes her really great in a team composition.
Yeah, looks like we are going to have patient locked in as our final pick. So yeah, once again, we're seeing that patient. Once again, we're seeing that dancer here. I would almost be a little bit concerned at the fact that these have been brought out so often. It does kind of show that lack of fear coming in there. But yeah, I'm definitely I'm very excited to see this comp and this kind of how these survivors are able to stand up, because we do have a very wide range of hunters that we could be seeing here.
Mhm.
So, against the Bloody Queen, against the Axe Boy, against, whatever else may come our way, if these survivors are able to stand the test.
For sure. I'm really anticipating with survivor bands such as these. Of course, you have your two meta bands in the beginning here, but a psychologist and an acrobat, you really could be smelling a Bloody Queen or an Axe Boy in the distance here. And you have a group of survivors um, that you can really go around and uh, especially when you're playing an exploit in a position of seeing the patient using those souls to really catch up to those hooks or the forward as well. You have to make sure that the team composition here is able to work around certain hunters here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to kind of see that prediction game coming in here again. And I feel like, especially with Patient, I'm a little bit sad to not see the Aeroplanist, but Patient does fill that similar role of being able to kind of bypass a lot of the obstacles, being able to just jump over things, and get out of the hunter's range very, very quickly. So
For
yeah,
sure.
I'm excited to see kind of, how this race is going to be run, so to speak, with that
Mm.
patient. Also with the dancer as well, if we're able to kind of get those box areas set up, if we're able to get teammate support on that as well, would be really big. But with our hunter pick coming in, it looks like, yes, we will be seeing that Axe Boy.
The Neon prediction beam is just going off lately. um, you know,
They call you
I
the seer.
Oh, oh. Well, maybe not that one. But yes, seeing as we are in the third round and it looks like CH4 is really trying to pull for that win. Ling pulling out the X-Boy, which is his number one here, is it looks like he's really coming out here and being like, this is my match. Like, and it looks like we are trying to go for that four man.
Yeah, definitely not surprising that, we're pushing for that four-man here. If CH4 gets a four-man elimination, that is going to cement the win for them. There will be no way for Pixus to make up that gap. So yeah, they really, on one hand, CH4 really needs to push for that four-man elimination here. On the other hand, though, Pixis survivors need to push for as good a result as possible in order to get into the second half of this round and give their hunter the best chance possible to close that point gap here. We're working with, I believe, a 4-point gap, so I do think that they're going to need to, at the very least, 3-man escape in order to get at least half of the way through that point deficit there. But yeah, a 4-man escape here or a draw and then a 4-man escape in the or a 4-man elimination in the second half of the round would be very, very ideal for Pixis. And obviously CH4 is going to do everything in their power to stop that coming into this match. So it really is going to come down to kind of the tenacity on both sides of being able to kind of game this into the end.
Of course. And unfortunately, we are at a team composition here where it will require a little bit of communication and a lot of teamwork, especially when you have a lot of survivors that the exploit can counter here. Being able to use his trees to block off the forward and the coordinator, you have to really make sure that you're utilizing your teammates to the best of their abilities to really catch this exploit off.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see. It looks like we do have. I'm gonna double check on this one, but yeah, it looks like we have a little bit of a lack of flywheel here on these personas, which is a little bit unfortunate for these survivors here. Flywheel is very, very good against exploit. You can kind of eat the soul that way. It doesn't go through if you flywheel into it, so little bit risky there from these survivors. But yeah, it looks like we are gearing up for that dancer first chase once again. And yeah, we'll just have to see if that pays off here.
For sure. Looks like we are going for, exactly as predicted, the dancer in the center of the map here. Being able to put down those slow boxes in the church can be very detrimental to the hunter's chase here. So the goal should definitely be to catch her off guard before she can even set up.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see kind of because I mean the center church as well is also such a strong area. But yeah, heading into the first half of round 3, CH4 in the lead here against Pixis survivors, and finally we are going to get to see that Axboy that we've kind of been waiting for. He is the mascot of the tournament, and yeah, I am Bones, this is Mian, and we are going to head into the match right now, heading right for the... Actually, no, we're not going to go for Dancer first chase. We're going to head over towards the coordinator.
You know what? Another really great first chase here. The coordinator can, unfortunately, only do so much in a position as wide and open as this shack area. Oh, beautiful soul snipe coming off of this exploit, and that gave the female dancer a lot of time to try and set up in here. Looks like we are not going to see any slow boxes inside the church, which means we have the opportunity to really catch this exploit off guard. The coordinator really wrapping around here, but unfortunately just the exploit is able to catch sight of that trail.
Yup, we do have excitement that is going to go off with this gun, but coordinator with a lot of distance there, definitely playing it safe with that gun. Oh, but with the soul snipe! Didn't even see that one coming, and we're right over the basement here once again. And wow, just absolutely incredible there with that kind of, you have gun, I have fire, and one of these survivors unfortunately do not come with built-in excitement. So yeah, that is going to be our very, very smooth first down there.
We have a lot of really great soul snipes coming off of this exploit here. We're really anticipating whether or not we're going to be seeing our survivors come in for a rescue, but it looks like we're all sitting and focusing on decoding. We're in the position of we don't have the ciphers and we don't have the cipher progress to rescue. So it looks like we might be seeing this coordinator get sold.
Yeah, very good discipline here on Pixus, though. They really don't have the resources to comfortably go for this rescue, but it looks like, Axboy has figured that out. We're going to switch targets onto the forward here, really looking for that soul hit, looking to disrupt this decoding as much as we possibly can. Taking a very, very aggressive approach here. Coordinator is going to blast off here in just a moment, not going to be rescued. We do have 4 ciphers remaining, though, and female dancer cipher is hard at work. Going to miss that soul hit, and we're going to miss the basic hit as well. Forward just getting into the area. Wow.
I don't know if you saw that, but to miss that basic hit, the forward actually used his flywheel. It was a perfectly executed. Missing the blink on the pallet here. This is really great coming off of this forward here.
Just an insane containment here, and really the vaulting speed of this forward is making this so, just really, really working out for forward. We're going to use the ball once again here, just transition to another pallet. Looks like we have about half the ball left, so we can definitely still come in for a stun. Oh my goodness!
Beautiful containment coming off of this forward here. Oh my goodness, and missing every smack inside the pallet. This is causing the Axboy to want to leave this forward, and rather chase someone else or pull this forward out of his hiding space. Another soul snipe here.
Yeah, we were able to land that soul hit, but those ciphers are hard at work. We only have 2 ciphers remaining, and it looks like Patient is about to pop one. Dancer here at about 40% cipher, but forward is unfortunately going to go down. Not quite able to get that 360 stun in place, but Patient can come for this rescue very, very comfortably. Unless it looks like Dancer's cipher is actually in the middle of the church here, and we're going to see another basement chair. That does make priming this final cipher a little bit risky. Just very unfortunate cipher placement here for this endgame.
My anticipation here with the X-Boy's build, especially because of the distance of where the X-Boy pulled the forward from to really get the forward into the basement. We could be seeing a giant claw on this X-Boy's build, which reduces the struggle speed. Really. Oh, beautiful soul snipe coming off of this X-Boy here. We are going to be seeing the Patient in the basement coming down for that rescue. But the no tide could be really, really make or break here.
Yeah, we're going to see heading back down into the basement. We do have a tree here, so we're looking for that soul snipe. Unfortunately, not going to land. Running around here, are going to be able to get that body block from the Patient. Forward is going to be able to exit the basement here, but ciphers still need to be popped. Missing that soul hit once again here. Forward is going to be able to take this containment, but Dancer is back up heading for this chase. Is she going to be able to make it to the window in time? No, we are going to see a Terror Shock.
Unfortunately, that is the unfortunate part of really trying to push for this middle cipher when you still have 2 ciphers left. Unfortunately, there are very limited pallet resources in this area. The forward does look like he is wrapping around here to probably try and heal and pick up this female dancer. Looks like the tinnitus is going off. This Axboy is just catching wind of it.
Yeah, Dancer unfortunately not quite healed enough. Forward in the area, and a beautiful soul snipe, just not quite on that prediction there. Dancer is going to remain on the ground here. She has used her self-heal, so unfortunately not going to be able to get up again. And Axboy is just going to go ahead and go for this chair. Patient is in the middle here. We do somewhat know where he is here, and we do have the Dancer's chair time to work with. This can, unless Patient's really, really able to hide this one out, I'm going to say we're looking at a 4-man elimination here for CH4.
It's really up until this Patient here being able to both collectively know where the hatch is and live long enough at half health, unless the Patient is willing to get rid of that final hook for a different item inside of a chest. It looks like we might have some anticipation where the hatch is. If I remember correctly, the Patient was decoding down in that area. We do have the Patient wrapping around, trying to ignore tinnitus. Looks like we were messing with the cipher in the back here just to really get rid of the crows so we don't get caught.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, with having eyes on dungeon here, it does make it much more difficult for a potential one escape. But with that 3-man elimination, that does actually make it so that the points are uneven here, even if Pixis was able to get a 4-man elimination with their hunter, it would not unfortunately be enough to unseat CH4 from their lead. So that is going to be GG's, but Patience still continuing to survive here. We do have crows though, so Axeboy very aware of the Patience location. Oh,
Beautiful soul
what?
snipe coming off of that axe boy. Unfortunately, we are going to be seeing a 4-man elimination. You know, we've been saying this since the beginning of this tournament and seeing Ling participating. Ling's axe boy has been a strong and formidable opponent for as long as I can remember. So really being able to see Ling until the end here is really intense.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. You know, the fact that most of those soul snipes, like, I didn't even see coming.
That is the
That
beauty of
final
Ling's
the
axe
snipe on the
boy.
coordinator and in the beginning and the snipe on the patient at the end, it genuinely looked as though they had just fallen over and died, which really is just the sign of that prediction, the sign of how strong that exploit is. And yeah, even with, kudos there to the forward for that kite. That was an absolutely incredible containment there. Unfortunately, just not quite enough to really bring us into more of a draw territory. But just these survivors are so talented.
No,
Really
seriously.
put up a fight in these matches.
We had a lot of beautiful containment, especially on that forward, being able to really just take the exploit for a spin here was very exciting to see. And of course, we had the coordinator in the beginning and the great support that came off of the dancer and the patient. You know, when you're sitting at a team composition, communication is your biggest friend. And this team genuinely has it. Time and time again, we have seen this female dancer come out and really do a lot of great support for her teammates and really, really be able to contain as much as possible. And, it's been really, really exciting to watch.
Yeah, and I mean, all of these matches have just been so incredible today, and we do have more coming up for this weekend. I do believe that with CH4 winning, that does mean our finals will be on Sunday. So save the date. That's going to be Sunday, the 5th, at the same time that started today, so 4 p.m. EST. And yeah, that's gonna be with myself as well as Ray. So I think that Ray commentated earlier on in the tournament, but yeah, very excited to have them back, and also myself to be back for the finals. But yeah, I mean, heading into kind of the later stages of the tournament, it just gets more and more and more intense, and it's such a joy, really, to be able to watch kind of the intensity ramping up here.
I definitely agree. We're moving into finals, and we have seen some of the best teams that I have seen in NAAU for a long while. Being able to commentate for them and to be able to partake and watch has been really exciting. We've seen a lot of really great gameplay, a lot of really great hunter matches and survivor matches, and it's been such a great honor to really be able to sit and commentate for everyone.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a while since we actually were able to commentate together, so I'm
Mhm.
very happy to be back with you, Myan.
Of
It's
course.
always, it feels like a throwback almost to have the two of us together, because for those of you who don't know the lore, I one of, if not, I think it may have been actually my first time ever commentating was with you. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit of
I roped
a
you
full
into it,
circle.
and it's been really fun to join you as you continued your commentary journey. because I do know you on your own Twitch channel also commentate Koba matches and the sorts
I
offhandedly as
do.
well.
Yeah, you can also I do upload the videos from that. I've also been doing just like single match videos out of Koa, so you can find that on my channel. I'll put a little wave in the chat there. That's my account, 206 Bones. Um yeah, I do commentary. I also play sometimes. I stream on Twitch with 206 Bones with two underscores, because all of the versions of the name were taken, but you can find me there. And Mian, where can we find you?
You can find me currently on Twitter, either between Tiger Mian or Soda Spice, and on Twitch I have not officially started streaming again.
Yet.
Slowly going, yes, I'm slowly going to start streaming art and Identity V soon. You can find me on Twitch at Mianster, so MYAN, and then stir like monster.
Oh, that's cute.
Uh, Thank you. So I'm definitely around, especially if you want to keep up with just art or anything. That is primarily what I do.
Because
You won't be.
you did draw your
I
PNG.
I did draw my
So
own PNG. I always make super fun and exciting PNGs for whenever I do new games. So hopefully you will keep up with me with that. This is the last time you'll be seeing me until the tournament ends and until our next one. So it's been a really great honor to commentate with everyone, and it's been a really great honor to meet everyone. I'll definitely be in the chat on Sunday to watch and to participate with everyone because being able to watch these teams from the first day until now has been very exciting for me. So I'm very grateful that you all had me.
yeah, and I'm always grateful to commentate with you. Thank you once again to all of the staff who have worked so hard putting this together, and our beautiful graphics as well, keeping the stream running. Thank you all for that. Thank you all to the teams for putting on such a great performance today. And you will see us again on Sunday, 4 p.m. EST. For the final match between Fusion and CH4. I feel like that's kind of, we've really got, kind of the best of NAU coming out
For
for this final
sure.
match. So do be there, clear your schedules. I will be there once again, and I hope to see all of you in the chat as well. But I don't believe I have anything else to announce, so that will be me signing off.
And I'm also signing off as well. Thank you so much for having me. I had so much fun.